In this video, we're going to be looking at perimeter. Perimeter is the measure of the outside of an object, its boundary. It's how far the outside would be if we stretch it all out in one line, or how far it would take to walk around all of this area. This is a fairly simple one. In this instance, the perimeter is just 5 plus 4 plus 5 plus 4. And that is 18. And I haven't given a unit because none of my numbers have units. And this shape's probably got too much information in it. Sometimes, to make things easier, what you'll see is that sides that are the same length are marked by giving them a dash through them. So these two are the same length. Because this is a different length, I'm going to give them 2 dashes just to distinguish them. So for shapes that have just straight lines, it's really straightforward. All you do is add up the length of the sides. Circular shapes are a little bit more tricky. When you are trying to get the perimeter of a circle, it's called the circumference. And here's my badly drawn circle. And the formula for a circumference is C equals 2 times pi times r. In this particular example, the radius, which is the length from the center to the edge, is 8 meters. So I can remove r and put 8 instead. And that's going to equal 50.3, because I'm rounding up, meters. If the information you've been given is the diameter of a circle, which is the length from one side through its center to the other side, you'll need to divide it by 2 to get the radius. So in this instance, if I had a line that was just from the center to the edge, that's going to be 5 meters. And then we can use our formula again to work out the circumference, which is times pi times r. Now for the keen-eyed observers, you might notice that, well, with this we divided by 2, and we're just going to times by 2 again with our formula. So really we can just keep this the same. We can just use the diameter times pi, and it will give us the same result. So this is 10 times pi, which equals 31.4 meters. Now, this trick does not work when you're trying to solve for the area. It can only work when you're using the circumference. Sectors of circles are a bit trickier again. They require a bit more calculation. So let's make up a value for our radius here, which is from the center to the edge, and let's make it 7. Now, this is a quarter of a circle. I know that because I have a 90-degree wedge of the circle. So if this radius is 7, then this is also going to be 7. So I know that much for my perimeter. I know that I will at least have 2 times the radius, so 2 7s. I also need to add in what fraction of a circle I have. Well, to work out that, I need to know how many equal parts I can make a circle into, and generally we make a circle into 360 equal parts called degrees. In this instance I have a 90-degree wedge, so I have 90 degrees of that circle available, and I can then use the same formula I used before, which is 2 pi r. when I substitute 7 in place of r, this is what I get. I get 2 times 7, which is 14. 90 over 360 simplifies to a quarter, because this is how much of a circle I have. I have a quarter. And 2 times r, well that's 14 again, and I have pi. Now remember, your BODMAS, you have to do the multiplication step first. You have to do this step before you can do the addition. So let's do that. We still have 14 here, and we're going to add to that 11. If you're doing this in the calculator, you'll get 10.995, and that's going to round up to 11. So we can just add those two things together, and that will give us 25, let's make those meters. Here I have another sector of a circle with a different angle. Now, the special thing about sectors of circles is that if it is coming from the center to the edge, as my badly drawn circle is, then they will always be the same length. So you won't often see the dashes put there because it is assumed that these are going to be the same length. So in this case, the perimeter is going to equal, I've got 2 lots of 12, so that's 24. So I've accounted now for these 2 lines. I just have to work out what this line is worth. And let's do my formula again, which is, in this case it's going to be 40, that's our new value, over 360, times 2 times 12, which is 24, times pi. And that's going to equal 24 plus 1 over 9 times 24 times pi. And remember to do the multiplication first, and you will end up with 24 plus 8.4, and that equals 32.4 meters. It is a lot of steps, but if you are asking yourself, how do I figure out the perimeter of a section of circle, you need to know this value. So you can get that at least. You can at least have 12 here plus 12 here. That's going to give you 24. And the last part is just getting this sector. And if you know what fraction of a circle you have, which is here, this 9th, then you just put that in front of your regular formula, which is 2 times pi times r, and you will get this section. Sometimes not all the values are given to you, and you'll have to work it out using the information available. Here I have a shape in which 2 sides are unknown, but using the other information that's given, you can work out what they equal. So let's take a look at this side first. I know that the total height of the shape is 6 meters, or 6 centimeters. I haven't put a unit there. And I know that this is 2. So the remaining height, to get to the top, if this is flat, well that's going to be 6 take 2. So I'm going to say that that is 4. That way the height here is the same as the height on this side. The same thing applies for this length. Going across the shape is 5, and I have 2 here. So what's left is 3. And I can now quickly calculate the perimeter by adding everything up together. And in this instance it's 22. Some questions will ask you to find the value of a side, and it will be labelled as a letter. In this case I've chosen x. It will give you the perimeter to start with, and then you have to work backwards to find x. So how do we do that? Well, if the perimeter equals 23, that's going to equal all the sides added up together. And here I have 3 sides that are worth 5, so I have 3 lots of 5 sides, and I have a side that is worth 4 meters and another side that's worth x. And we can keep this going. 15 plus 4 plus x. And that will simplify to 23 equals 19 plus x. And then you can do your math machine, or if you prefer, just take 19 from both sides, and that will leave you with x equals 4. Sometimes you'll be given a shape that has an unknown value, and you'll be asked to find the perimeter. Generally, these questions also give you the value of x, and you just have to substitute what's in the question into the shape. In this instance, the perimeter is going to equal 6, well, I have 2 lots of 6, so 2 times 6, and I have 2 lots of 5, 2 times 5, I have a 2, and x now equals 1. So all up, that's going to equal 12 plus 10 plus 3, which equals 25. Sometimes the shapes will be really complicated and you'll have lots of sides that are unknown. In this shape, I've got 8 meters here, I've got x here, and every length that has a dash through it is also x. So I've got 4 lots of x in this shape. Don't worry, I can still figure this out. I know that the perimeter is 39 meters. So let's do what we did before. If we write out, so that's 39 equals 8 plus 2 plus 6 plus 3. There's also 4 sides of unknown length that are in this shape. So that's going to be plus 4 lots of x. And if we simplify all that, we have 19 plus 4x. And from here you can do your math machines, or the method you prefer. I'm just going to do math machine just to show you how it's done. So I had x, went in, it got times by 4, went into another one, 19 was added, and out came 39. If I work backwards, I'm going to take 19, so I'm left with 20, and then I'm going to divide by 4, and 20 divided by 4 is 5. So x equals 5 meters. Okay, that's our look at perimeter. Hopefully this has clarified some things for you. If not, go back, watch the video again, and if you're still confused, leave a comment and I will try to get back to you. Thanks.